Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beatley Toes Beatles channel. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me for this video. Hope you're all doing well. Now, in today's video, we've got another eyewitness report from the Australian Paul McCartney Got Back tour. I've got with me Jason, friend of the channel and subscriber. Welcome, Jason. Lovely to meet you and interested to hear all about the gig that you went to. But you actually went to two gigs, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Newcastle on Tuesday and Sydney last night, Friday.
And how would you say that the two compared with each other?
Same songs, but the quite different actually. And it really for me came down to the audience response. So I sat in more or less the same spot for both gigs, but for the first gig, Newcastle, more subdued. The audience was up and down a lot, depending on the song that was being played. But at Sydney, the audience was on their feet pretty much all night. And it really buoyed, I think, Paul and the band and their performance was spot on last night. It was a really great show.
Yeah. Just so everyone can get a kind of perspective, because Australia is, of course, an absolutely huge country. Just give us an idea of the geography for, I think probably most people know that Sydney is down the bottom of Australia in New South Wales. Whereabouts is Newcastle?
Newcastle's not far away. It's really the next majorish city north. So it's only a couple of hours drive from Sydney to Newcastle. I was lucky. My work tends to take me around New South Wales, which is the state that Sydney's in, where I live, and so it was just worked out really nicely for me that I had to be in Newcastle on the Wednesday. So I just went up the Tuesday, saw the show, and then went off to work as normal, but in Newcastle Wednesday. So perfectly timed.
Yeah. So what about about 100 miles apart, something like that, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I guess a couple of 100 kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say they were more subdued, they're more reserved. Did they kind of stay in their seats for the whole gig in Newcastle, or?
Yeah, they were up and down, So, when Paul came out, they were on their feet for the first two, Can't Buy Me Love and Junior's Farm, but sat down for Letting Go, which I was kind of stunned. I just saw Junior's Farm and Letting Go as this incredible 1-2 punch. What a way to start the show after Can't Buy Me Love. But the Newcastle crowd sat down during that performance and were really down
at Junior's Farm. They sat down for Junior's Farm and Letting Go.
No. They were up for Junior's Farm. They sat down for Letting Go, and then they were kind of up and down. They were up again for something like Got to Get You Into My Life. They were down for the new songs. They were. Obla Di Obla Da has been amazing at both concerts. I was kind of shocked by that, quite frankly, but. In hindsight, it was that was the theme song for a popular children's show here through the 80s and 90s called Fat Cat. So I'm assuming that most of the audience were Fat Cat kids. So everybody was up for Obla Di Obla Da. So it was far more up and down. Whereas, as I say, Sydney, people were on their feet. The only time really that people were noticeably not on their feet at Sydney was for My Valentine.
Right.
A slower song, but 1985, they were sort of getting back on their feet, and then everybody was up and going Burko.
Do you think it was because maybe people don't know My Valentine? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of, if you go into these shows and paying the sort of money that he's charging for tickets for these shows, you've got to be a fairly, there's probably not too many, well, to use a better word, day trippers that are just, are just going for the sake of going. I think people have probably looked forward to it for a long time, but maybe there's, people going because of the Beatles rather than his solo career, or.
I suspect so. That's probably right. I think, and it's interesting perspective, isn't it? But it's certainly in Newcastle, there were people around me saying, "Oh, when my Valentine came on, oh, this is a new song. I don't know it." We know it's now 10 years old, but for most people, when you look at the set list, I think there were only 5 songs that are post 1982 or something. So, and they were largely unknown, I think, to the majority of the people in the audience.
Yeah, because I can remember when he did Glastonbury, I was kind of watching it but following it on Twitter, and when he did that double punch, as you say, of Junior's Farm and Let It Go, people that are not fans, but because we have Glastonbury live on TV, so it's
Right.
everyone is watching it, not just Paul's, fans, and they were saying, what's he doing? I don't know these songs. And for us fans, to have Junior's Farm and Letting Go in the set, it's fantastic. It's going back to the 70s, sort of around the time maybe that we got into him, and it was for me. And I whenever I talk to other fans, I always like to ask them how they became a fan, even though it's not necessarily relevant to the gigs, but it just interests me. I mean, when I spoke to Boyan the other day, obviously he's a really young guy, so I was very interested. But I'd like to ask you as well, how did it all happen for you? Was it all in right from the word go, or was it a gradual thing that you bought an album and you'd liked an album and then you more? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. You sort of can't remember a time really when you didn't know Beatle music, and so for me, actually, I've got it here. My first Beatle was this thing. I don't know if you can see that.
Right.
So the Essential Beatles, which is a unique to Australia compilation album. No, from 1972. So
okay, what's on it?
Well, it's a really eclectic mix. So it's got Love Me Do, Boys, Long Tall Sally, Honey Don't, P.S. I Love You, Baby You're a Rich Man, All My Loving, Yesterday, Penny Lane, side 1. And side 2 is Magical Mystery Tour, Norwegian Wood, With a Little Help from My Friends, All You Need Is Love, Something, Obla Dee, Obla Da, and Let It Be.
Right, so it's a real,
it's a really
odd,
strange mix.
What you call odd choices for a compilation, and so
that was in my house growing up. My mum had
that was in your house growing up. Okay.
Yeah, but the other things that were in my house at the same time were Band on the Run and Mind Games, and another kind of curio called Moog Plays the Beatles, which was an instrumental of Moog synthesizer. So that's the early 70s, early to mid 70s.
Did those records belong to your parents or your siblings?
So the Essential Beatles was my mother's. The Band on the Run and Mind Games would have been my older sister's. So my sister was 10 years older than me. So I got a lot of my musical education, I guess you might say. She introduced me to not only Beatles, but Creedence Clearwater Revival, Led Zeppelin, T-Rex, all of that sort of stuff came from her. So, I always think, as a kid, I was a teenager in the 80s. Most of my friends were listening to kind of synthesizer, new wave, and I was listening to the other. That's really my sister's taste. So, so from an early age, probably from age 10 or 12, so from 1979, I was at a mate's place, and he had his uncle's BC-13, the blue box, and played me Sgt. Pepper. And I went straight out from there with my pocket money and bought Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road. And then, 1980, I know my mum bought McCARTNey too, because she loved Coming Up and Waterfalls in particular. And she bought me the Beatles ballads, and really from there I was just buying stuff as it was released. So real music, the number ones, the American rarities, all of that. Clear memories of the day John Lennon was shot.
How old was you then?
Well, it was my birthday, so the 8th of December
Oh,
actually is my birthday.
oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So I was 12. Yeah, so that
Okay.
day, that's not a day I'll forget easily.
No,
Yeah, and
especially
so it really kicked
with your
off from there.
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, so shortly after that, I got my first BC 13, the blue box, and then
Mm.
later it was released again in a gold box here in Australia as a limited edition, and picked up that, and then a 20th anniversary singles collection. So I'm a sucker for a box set.
Mm.
Bought a heap of them. You can see quite a few of them probably behind me here.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see.
so probably by the time I was finished high school, which would have been about 86, it's probably safe to say I had all of the back catalogue, really, Beatles and solo albums, a fair collection of 45s as well. So
It's that sort of it's that roller coaster that you never ever get off really. From
No,
them.
I mean, I think probably from after school it slowed down a bit, and obviously I think the last vinyl I bought for a long time was the Unplugged album. Then it was CDs for a period, for about 30 years probably, and really just buying new stuff as it was released. But then when COVID hit, I kind of went crazy.
Yeah.
And decided I was going to, go back and fill some gaps and spent a lot of money, upgrading, things like Off the Ground and Memory Almost Full and Driving Rain onto vinyl.
Yeah.
Like you probably spent a fortune on some of that.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing else to do, was there? So yeah, for me, COVID and lockdown was my my reintroduction to vinyl. That's when I decided to start buying vinyl again.
Yeah, that's right.
Starting with McCARTNEY 3, and then it kind of spiraled a little bit from there. Okay, so let's talk about Paul in Australia. So when the tour was announced, was it did it get a lot of media coverage? Was it on the the national news and that sort of thing? Was there a buzz, do you think, from Australians, the fact that Paul was coming back to Australia?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know whether I was more tuned into it this time than 2017 when he was here last, but it felt like there was more of a buzz this time. And so it was the first media on it was actually rumours. So there was an online. I picked it up on an online music media. Said McCartney rumoured to tour, and I think I sent it to you actually amongst some others, and said I believe this when I see it, kind of thing, because his touring history here has been 1975, 1993, 2017. So he wasn't really due back here until about 2040. So the idea that we'd be back so soon, I don't think anyone believed it until it was officially announced a few days later.
Yeah. So 2017 obviously is fairly recent in comparison. So the last time he was on Australia was for the New World Tour, the Off the Ground
1993.
Tour,
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the first time I saw it.
Oh, okay. So these shows, what was that number 4 and 5? Is it, or the
these ones? No, 3 and 4. Yeah.
3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a buzz. There definitely was a buzz. It was in the media. There were Facebook groups started up fairly quickly. And even today there's still a buzz about it. There was a buzz about last night's show. There was a buzz about tonight's show. It's been really exciting actually.
And did you decide straight away that you were going to go to more than one show, or did that sort of happen kind of accidentally?
I wondered, because the last 2 times I've only been to the one, and I know some people who followed him around last time, and I thought, that would be amazing. Do I want to do that? So I ummed and ahed, waxed and waned a little bit about it, and in the end decided on the 2 shows, and there's some reasons for that. You know, there was some some stuff going on with my dad's health and work and stuff that probably meant traveling around the country was going to be a little bit challenging right now. But I definitely wanted to see more than one show. Absolutely.
And was the ticket, getting the tickets, was it easy? Was it well organised, or was it a complete shambles? Or
no, it was okay. I mean, I had the pre-sale, and it was good because they were the pre-sale times for each show were staggered across the different states.
Right.
So they were, they weren't all at the same time, which made it a little bit easier. But I sat there with my laptop and my iPad and my iPhone all spinning, and just grabbed the first one that came on. And for what it's worth, on both occasions it was the iPhone that came through first. And got pretty good seats. Seats I was really happy with, actually.
Yeah, whereabouts? So both venues are stadiums, right, rather than arenas.
Yeah, they're rugby league stadiums.
Okay, so no roofs or anything like that.
No roofs, both open air.
No,
yeah,
okay.
And it did rain last night a little bit, but not too much.
And so where were your seats for sort of both the gigs? How far away?
Yeah, both gigs more or less the same spot, and so I was on the floor, probably just right of stage, so probably in front of Brian, playing guitar, and probably I think Newcastle I was about 20 rows back from the stage, and last night was probably about 27 rows back from the stage, so reasonably close.
Yeah. Okay. So did you find yourself sort of focusing on him with the naked eye, or was you mostly looking at the screens, do you think?
Definitely Newcastle, more looking at the screen, and was trying to capture some video and some photos.
Yeah.
But I knew, I did that deliberately, knowing that when I got to Sydney, it was going to be all eyes on the stage. I wasn't going to be distracted by, worrying about trying to capture footage. So Newcastle first mainly on the screen. Last night, definitely on the stage.
Okay.
And a much better experience, I would say.
Okay, right. Okay. So he starts off with "Can't Buy Me Love." It's always a difficult song, I think. I think it's difficult for him to sing because it's quite high. But the main thing is that the vocal comes in on beat 1 of that song, so he doesn't have he doesn't have the band going round the chord sequence, so he can pitch himself. He's got to get it right on beat 1, and we saw in the footage of some of the gigs on the US leg, he very often he didn't make it. How was he? How was it?
I didn't pick up any problem at all.
He was bang on it.
Yeah.
That's how he was at Glastonbury, and that was the first one that I'd seen where he had absolutely hit it first time. I thought, oh, this is going to be different, and it was. And from the footage that I've seen of the various gigs from Australia so far, it seems that his voice is much better than it was on the US leg of the Got Back tour. Did you think that? Did you think he was in good voice?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's going to struggle in various places, but
I think they've been clever the way they've covered it to some extent, I guess, with the other backing vocals and the mix, I guess, of his vocals. But I would say overall, holy shit, it's such an improvement on the 2017 gig that I saw. It was invariably strong. It was only really, tracks like Here Today, Blackbird to an extent. He's more exposed. It's more vulnerable. You can hear the age in his voice. But then I would also say that it adds emotion. Particularly to something like Here Today. Really, really suited the song. I think so. But yeah, I don't know what's happened between 2017 and now, but something's happened and his voice has improved vastly, or he's singing differently. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, Boyan, who was at the Melbourne gig, he said similar thing. He saw him in 2017, and he thought that his voice was much better this time, which is unusual because you would expect it to, deteriorate as time goes on. But
well, I would say that was my fear. I've got to say, going in, that was what I was worried about. But nothing to worry about.
No.
And I mean, I'd heard the reports from Glastonbury as well, so that gave me reason to be hopeful. But yeah, no, he was awesome. Yeah, really, really good.
Really, really good. Excellent. So he surprises everyone that hasn't previously looked at the set list by playing "She's a Woman," which I think is the first time that he's played that live on this tour. Was that an exciting moment to hear him do that? I mean, that is a very difficult song for him to sing.
It is, and
it's that throaty vocal, isn't it? And it's quite high and stuff.
Yeah, and he did that unplugged. I think it was. I don't know whether he's done it since unplugged, but that was the last.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did do it on unplugged. He did, yeah.
Which was great, but with a full band and electric. And I do have to say, I was pretty stoked to see. I don't know if you can see the green guitar behind me, but that's the same guitar that Brian was playing for "She's a Woman." It's the avocado green Gretsch. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that was nice.
Well, it was nice, and you were on his side of the stage.
I was.
Right?
That's right.
So you got a really good view.
Right. He nicked my guitar. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So got to get you into my life. That he's got the horn section as well.
Horns were fantastic all night. I've got to say they were a real highlight.
Yeah. Boyan said that they weren't on stage right from the start. They were kind of in the audience and they kind of
up in the stands. Yeah, they were up in the stands. Yeah, up in the stands. And so you could see from the video screen. So everyone's kind of looking around trying to work out where they were, but they were they were up in the stands to my left. So quite up high, highlighted there, and which was really cool.
And Boyan made a point of saying that they looked as if they were having a really good time. Messing about, throughout the gig and having fun.
It's true. It's true, particularly last night in Sydney. Yeah.
Okay. So he gives us. He gives you the. How do you feel about the two songs from Egypt Station?
Look, there are any number of songs I would have preferred.
Yeah.
To those,
I think everyone would have their own sort of, preferred set list. But what I meant was from the point of view that these two songs are, are kind of still in the set, and he doesn't tend to keep songs from new albums in the set very long. I mean, New is a kind of an exception to that, and so is Dance Tonight. But he toured both of those albums, so he's played quite a few songs from those albums on previous tours, but only those songs remain. But we've still got these two songs in the set, which for me are maybe some of the weaker material on Egypt Station for me.
Yeah, I agree, and I think my sense of people were okay with "Come On to Me," but I think For You, I don't know whether he's doing it for shock value, but you can just see, particularly people who've got their younger kids with them, looking at him up there thinking, I just want to For You, and thinking, what is this?
I was going to ask you that actually. What would you say that the audience was, fairly, eclectic as far as age goes? Was lots of different ages. That seems to be a real thing of Paul's gigs, that people are taking, their kids and their grandkids and all that sort of stuff.
For sure. So the first in Newcastle, there was a fella sitting next to me who'd brought along his 8-year-old son. I don't know if they were younger, but he just turned 8, and didn't he go off when they played Birthday? for him. I had another mate of mine that was there last night. He had 3 of his kids there, who were all in there from sort of 17 through to 25 or something. So, and then, plenty of people my age. Definitely, it was the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere, I might have been on the Facebook group, that somebody had taken their 88-year-old father along to the show. So you had at least 88 to 8. That was at least the spectrum.
All right. So there was someone there older than Paul then.
Yeah, that's right.
I see that I just looked at the set list from Sydney and compared it against the set list for Newcastle, and they did do the same songs. But I noticed that he made a little switch in the running order of the set list. So after For You at Newcastle, he went straight to Jet and then did Mr. Kite, Something, Oh Bloody, and then went to the 2 Abbey Road songs, You Never Give Me Your Money, and She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. Last night, he went straight to the 2 Abbey Road songs. I wonder why that what I mean. There's no point in me asking why he did that, but there was obviously a reason for that. Or in Melbourne, he did the same order as he did at Newcastle.
Yeah, don't know. I mean, I didn't even notice the difference. I'll be honest with you. So whether he thought that it was a better flow, I don't know. But certainly from mine, it wasn't noticeable.
Yeah, maybe it could be something to do with, because I mean, For You is quite an in-your-face song, and obviously Jet is as well. Maybe by putting the slower songs, You Give Me Your Money and Bathroom Window, and then maybe that kind of gives his voice a little bit of a break from the sort of the screamy sort of songs. Maybe that was
maybe.
The reason.
Maybe, not sure. I mean, it felt last night, I can't remember Newcastle so much, but it certainly felt like last night, the latter part of the set really flowed. And it was just kind of, one big hit after one big hit. And certainly the crowd last night, from Jet through to, Hey Jude, were just on their feet and going crazy. So maybe it was a better run. With tracks to the back end of the set. I don't know.
So he did. I presume that he did that little sequence where he does Blackbird and Here Today. He's up on the rostrum thing.
Yes, he did.
He's high.
Yes, he did.
He looked like at Melbourne. He was way above the stage.
Yeah. It was really high. Yeah, really high. I mean, that was funny because he, as you know, he's telling a lot of the same stories around all the same things. And he did the thing with the signs, there are people holding up the signs, and you tell yourself, don't read the signs, but you do. And he was going around looking at the signs, and there was a guy there last night who had a sign saying, I can play Blackbird correctly, or something like that, which kind of stole the punchline for his later joke when he says, put your hand up if you've tried to learn Blackbird and you got it wrong. He had to look at this guy and goes, I know, you got it right.
And did he do the usual thing where he talks about the thing that he worked out with George when they were very young for that style of playing? He played that sort. Yeah.
And so yes, all the stories were the same.
Were the same. Nothing new that you noticed.
Nothing new that I noticed. No, there was nothing new that I noticed. Just thinking. No, and it's funny, when he's doing the signs, he always finishes with the one, somebody's supposedly holding up a sign saying, sign my bum or something. So it's so he's obviously there every night, the guy with that sign.
Yeah. He's got it off pat now. That's probably why he doesn't change the set very often, because he'd have to think of some new in between song banter to come up with. But obviously, it's really professional. It all flows very nice. And if if you're you know, if you're seeing Paul for the very first time, you've never heard those stories before, and they're all, you know, they're all entertaining stories.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard it all before and kind of don't know that it's sort of staged, then you know, it just, you know, it adds to the entertainment, because you've got, you know, Paul McCartney, you know, on stage telling stories, so it's great.
Yeah, I think that's right. And you know, I went last night with a mate of mine who I've known since, you know, we were at school together, and it was his first time. And you know, and he was in stitches. You know, for all Paul's stories. And I think that's right. You haven't heard this before. You know, it's that old adage: change your audience, not your content. That's the secret.
Yeah, that is, well, that's it. You know, because I mean, you know, I suppose that is the, you know, he always has to work on that premise that, you know, that there are a huge percentage in each venue that have never seen him before, seeing him for the first time, and that's why he, you know, he has to do Let It Be, he has to do Hey Jude, you know, and you know, songs like he has to do Band on the Run, Jet, you know, because they're the songs that people know, and if you're going to see him for the first time, you feel a little bit shortchanged if he didn't do Let It Be, or you know, Hey Jude, or whatever, because that's what people were going for.
And it's fine, you know. I sat there through the pre-show, the video that scrolls, and you know, the music that they're playing over the pre-show video, and it's Big Barn Bed and Love Is Strange and Oh Darling and Take It Away and Country Dreamer and B-Side to Seaside and Smile Away, and I'm thinking, why aren't these songs in the set list? How good it would be, you know, to go and see this show. But and you know, and how many times do I have to hear Jet and you know, Let Me Roll it? And but when they come on, it's amazing. You just get lost in it. It's amazing. Yeah.
And they're in the set because they're fantastic songs, and so many people love them. You know, if he did it, you know, if he did something like Smile Away, people think, what the hell is this? You know, you know, apart from the hardcore fans that'd be absolutely delighted that he's doing a deep cut. But talking of that, there was when I spoke to Boy, and he went to the he did the VIP package, so he went to the sound check, and you know, I before I spoke to him, I printed off the set list for both the sound check and the main gig, and when I looked at the set list for the sound check, it had on it Ramon / Big Barn Bed, and I'm, wow, he's done Big Barn Bed. He's never, you know, he hasn't done it since 1973 or whenever it was. And but that proved to be a bit of a red herring, because he did Ramon, which I have seen him do before. But the Big Barn Bed thing was just because he, you know, he went into the Who's That Coming Around That Corner thing, coming around the bend at the end of that song, and they counted that as being Big Barn Bed. So I was a bit disappointed on his behalf that he didn't get to see him do Big Barn, because I've never seen him do Big Barn Bed.
No. And how amazing would it be?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Talk me through the sort of the emotion of Something, when he does Something.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, and you know, it's another one of those ones that you know, because I've now seen it. Well, he played it in 2017, obviously, but you know, really since the Concert for George, he's played it. So it's on the live album, it's on all the DVDs, etc. So it's probably one of those ones again that I thought, oh, you know, how long is he going to keep playing this? But again, you know, he's the consummate professional. Who am I to doubt him? You know, the crowd would just
he knows what he's doing
on their feet. Yeah, absolutely. The crowd are on their feet. They're singing along, and everybody loves it. You know? And it is emotional. It really is quite extraordinary.
But I've seen him do it both when he first started doing it, which I think might have been on the about 2002 or 2003 sort of time, Driving Rain tour, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's on the back in the US or back in the world.
Yeah,
CD, isn't it?
he started off doing it, and he used to do the whole song just on the ukulele,
Yeah,
just on his own. And how he does it now is just, it's got so much more impact emotionally,
I agree.
and it kind of makes it a better song. Because obviously, when it comes to the solo, the whole band come in, and you get the picture of George behind him on the screen. It's just such a whoosh, of emotion at that point. I can't see him ever dropping that, to be honest. I mean, if he's gonna continue to do a George tribute song, he's not probably going to change.
It's the one to do, isn't it? Yeah,
now at this stage. But that has just got so much impact. It's always a real sort of highlight whenever I see him. So
it's almost brave, because it is a song that could overshadow some of his own songs. I think, it's such a great song. It's and a huge song. Yeah,
it is such a great song, and the band just sounds so fantastic. Well, throughout they always sat there. I mean, they're such a good band. But that they on that song, they just they really, it's the epitome of light and shade, isn't it? When he goes from from the ukulele to the whole band are in. Right. It's just a really good moment. So Obla Di Obla Da, Boyan said that was probably the most popular song of the night in Melbourne. It was just, people went crazy for it. How was
weird? Yeah, same. But at Newcastle and Sydney, the same. It really got people up, and I guess it's just such a happy song. And I would say the other big surprise in the same vein for me was Dance Tonight. I just didn't see that coming. Even in Newcastle, which was the more subdued, people, and it would be a song that most people would not have heard. But as soon as he kind of walked out or was handed the mandolin, people got interested, and everyone really just got into both of those songs in a big way. It was, it was quite cool actually, but unexpected.
So he does Band on the Run, Got Back, Let It Be, Live and Let Die with all the pyro. Was that fantastic spectacle?
Yeah, and the heat coming off the flames.
Yeah,
almost singe your eyebrows. Honestly,
it's amazing how far back you can be and still feel the heat from that flame thing. And did he have like fireworks going off like behind the stadium? Yes,
not behind. I think Newcastle they were behind. In Sydney they were inside the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not sure why, but
no, it's probably something to do with permission to let off fireworks, or
I'm sure,
whatever. But
a great run of songs that you've just read out. It was,
I mean, the set list is so strong. I think that so hardcore fans would want him to do some more deep cuts, but it would he would have to take some of these songs out to do that, and ultimately song for song that would make the set weaker. I think from a general point of view. I mean, he is playing all the biggies. So Hey Jude, presumably he does the usual thing, we get the crowd singing with it, just the boys, just the girls, and then all together, and
all of that. And when the girls are on, I love that sound. We did that at both shows. I would say I don't know whether this is just my perception or whether it's real, but it's the Na Na Nas seemed to go on quite a bit longer last night, and there was far more emotion, it felt like, in the stadium, and he was really lapping it up. It just looked like he was having the best time through that.
It's funny you should say that, actually, because when I mean, I've seen him do it lots of times, but when he did it at Glastonbury, I wasn't at the gig. I was watching it on TV, but I saw something that I've never seen before, and it's probably because he was not playing in front of his own audience, because people at Glastonbury, I don't know if you know the Glastonbury Festival or how it works, but basically the tickets go on sale in September or October for the next year's Glastonbury concert, which is always held in June. But nobody knows who's going to be on the bill, so people are just applying for tickets because they want to be at Glastonbury for 3 days and watch all the different bands, but they don't know who's going to be on. So consequently, most of the audience that are there are not necessarily the audience for that artist. So there would have been there's 200,000 people go to this festival, and when Paul was on, there'll be a load of people that are watching a completely different band at the same time on a different stage somewhere else on the site. But there are lots of people who were Paul's fans, but when the cameras pan across the audience, you can see that a lot of them are very young and probably not necessarily fans of Paul, but they're really, really digging it. And when he went off after Hey Jude, and I've never seen this before, that the audience just kept singing the Na Na Nas the whole time he was off until he came back on the stage, which was amazing. I've never seen that before. Was there any of that at either of these two gigs?
No. I almost expected it. I've heard that. I don't know whether it's on. Does that happen on? No, it's not Tripping the Live, or is it the Nebworth album? I know I've heard that somewhere, and I half expected, because the audience was just so into it, that they might continue, but no, it didn't. Unfortunately, I wish it had. It would have been amazing to be part of.
So how long did he keep you waiting before he came out for the encore?
Like 2 minutes.
Is that all?
Oh yeah, it was short as absolutely.
Boyd said it was about the same, about 2 or 3 minutes, which is really good. They obviously want to get back to their hotel.
That's right. And it's the same gag. There's the roadie or one of the guys that's coming out trying to whip up the crowd. Paul goes, "Oh, he reckons you want another song." Okay then.
So he starts the encore sequence with, he does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs as an encore. Admittedly, a couple of them are quite short, but nobody does 7 songs as an encore.
No,
or maybe Springsteen does. I don't know. I've never seen a Springsteen show, but maybe.
And it's quite a heavy encore too when you think about the songs that he's playing. It's a very up encore.
It is. He's doing Helter Skelter and Birthday and Sergeant Pepper's, but the one I wanted to talk to you about is I've Got a Feeling. So I've Got a Feeling, and he's got the rooftop thing behind with John's vocals isolated, so it's like he's singing with John. How was that obviously you'd seen it. I expect you'd seen it before on YouTube, but how was it?
Sure.
I've never seen it live. How was it to see that actually in the flesh with him singing, with John live?
Yeah, crazy. Worth the price of admission to the second show just to hear him do it again.
Yeah.
Really, really, really special. I don't know how to describe it. Really, it is. Yeah, as you say, I've seen it on YouTube, and you go, "Oh, that looks really cool." But at the event, and it's extraordinary. The timing of it all is spot on. There's it could be like he's there. Amazing.
It's
amazing.
When he did that at Glastonbury, firstly, I really loved it because the majority of the audience were young, and they really got it. They got the importance of it, and it was panning around the crowd or whatever. A lot of people crying with it. Young people. You would think that they don't really understand it, but they did. But when he finished, he kind of. Because he turns around, doesn't he? And he looks at the image while he's doing it. And he turned around and he said, and he you could hear that in his voice that his voice was cracking. He was really emotional, but I don't know whether it because he was, playing, back in England and stuff or whatever. But it clearly got to him, and he said, I know it's virtual, but it's like we're together again, and it's a really sort of a really, really powerful moment. I think.
Same. Yeah, I know it's virtual, but I get to sing with John again.
Yeah, is that what he said that as well?
Yeah. I get to sing with John again. Yeah.
It is.
And I don't think. I couldn't tell you what the rest of the audience was doing because you're you're glued to the screen really at that point. The rest of the world kind of disappears. It is a moment, and I can't imagine what it would have been like to see it the first time, or for him to do it the first time. That must have been extraordinary.
Yeah, I think that was the Spokane gig, or Spokane. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. The gig on the first leg when he did it the first time. But amazing stuff. You get Birthday, Sergeant Pepper's reprise, just on its own this time, which is a kind of an odd inclusion. I suppose he wanted to do the song, but because of the timing, he has to do the short one. Because before, when he's done just the reprise, he's kind of used it as an entrance into the end, hasn't he? And
I guess it sets you up for the fact that the show's coming to an end. I can see why he chose to play it and place it there. Obviously, but it's short. That's the shame of it. It's such a short.
It's short, and he goes into Helter Skelter with all the sort of the video thing that you have behind the bright white lights. Was that you had that sort of stuff?
All of that. Yeah. So it's the only song I think in the set where the screens are full of that. There's no, you don't see the band. So if you're that far away, you can't see them at all.
Yeah. And then
it's just huge. It's such a big song, in a stadium like that.
Yeah, and it's a song that must be taking its toll on his voice at that stage of the gig, because he's been on stage 2.5 hours by now.
That's the thing that was just amazing to me. That he's done a big show already. If he walked off stage at Hey Jude and didn't come back. You could say, he's done 2.5 hours, and then he comes back and belts out. I've got a feeling, Birthday, Sergeant Pepper, and Helter Skelter, and you think, Jesus.
And he's also done an hour for the VIP people as well. Usually he does songs that are not actually in the set. But Boyan said that he did do New and Lady Madonna in the VIP gig thing. But he does an hour of that, and then it's knocking on to 3 hours that he plays all the time, and you kind of he hardly takes a drink in that time. He's
no, I think one sip of water, I think, is all I saw.
Yeah, that's what Boyan said as well. He's obviously incredibly fit, which is good news. And so he ends the set with Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and the fantastic end to the set. You enjoyed that, I presume?
Oh, yeah. Look, I remember buying Tripping the Light, fantastic, when that came out, and hearing that, do that. And then when he came here in '93 for the New World Tour, didn't do it, and I was so disappointed. So to finally get to hear that live, that was absolute highlight for sure. Yeah, it's I love Abbey Road, and who doesn't, and that medley, it's just amazing, and a great way to finish. Perfect way to finish.
Yeah,
the show.
Really good way to finish. So if you could pick one moment as the absolute highlight from either of the shows, I'm putting you on the spot here, but what would you say was your favourite, either song or moment, in the whole thing?
Wow, a highlight amongst highlights. That's a big ask. I loved Maybe I'm Amazed.
Yeah,
For a number of one, because I never thought he would sing it. I just thought that was beyond him, and it's a song that I love, and I love the live version
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
And it was going with my mate last night. He said that's if he just plays that, I'll die happy kind of thing.
yeah,
So maybe I was channeling him a little bit, but that was a real highlight for me to see that that version of Maybe I'm Amazed was incredible. But I mean, there were so many. Tone, honestly, you could pick a dozen others.
It's my favorite McCartney song as well. Maybe I'm Amazed, and we did think that it was beyond him vocally now, because it's such a hard song to sing, but he gave it a go, and
he did.
It's great to see it live. Anything, any I wouldn't say. I mean, I can't imagine there's anything that disappointed you. But would there have been a song that you would like to have seen included that he didn't do? Or
yeah, I mean, I would have been happy to lose either or both of the Egypt Station songs in favour of almost anything off McCartney 3. Really.
Yeah,
that was the big surprise for me, that he didn't play anything off McCartney 3.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird?
It is, and it's not like the Egypt Station songs were likely to be any better known to the audience. So I don't know what the logic is.
No,
but yeah, that would be the only thing I think that I would say.
Yeah, he has been doing Women and Wives, and I think he's done Find My Way as well at the VIP gig thing.
Yeah, no, I just saw that.
But
I mean, Find My Way, that's the big surprise. It's not in the set, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Of anything.
Yeah, very, 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 very strange. Okay. Right, now, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. Did you get any merch?
Not the heap. I got I think the same T-shirt that Boyan got for that one.
All right, yeah, nice.
Which I quite like. And I got the program, which is.
And how much was the program this time?
Let me think. So it must have been about $60, I think.
Wow. So that's
but it's good quality. It's really good quality.
Yeah, it was like it was good quality. So you got a T-shirt and the program.
And then I just bought the.
There's always
the
more.
Stubby holder.
Right, okay.
Got the Ringo when he toured here in 2013, so I just got the matching. So they can sit there together on the shelf.
Okay, I think we're pretty much there. Absolutely fantastic to talk to you, Jason, and to meet you. Thanks very much for taking the time to come on and tell us all about these two shows. Really appreciate it. What time is it for you now?
It is 10 o'clock, 10 p.m.
Oh, okay. So
10 p.m. Saturday night. So it's not too bad at all.
Not too late.
No.
Okay. Well, as I say, thanks very much. Really appreciate you coming on, telling us everything, and been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. So thanks very much. Okay, everyone, that is it. Sorry, were you about to say something, Joe?
I was just going to say, absolutely a pleasure to be here. Really nice to yarn with you, and love the channel, I got to say. So look forward to every new installation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, everyone, thanks very much for watching. If you want to say anything about what you've seen in this video, anything about the Sydney and Newcastle gigs, please do so down in the comments. Okay, that is all from me. It's all from Jason as well for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.